interrogate the wives of Osama bin Laden captured in last weekend's raid. Pakistani government sources have not said yet when that would take place. President Obama has signed a disaster declaration for Tennessee. It will allow federal funding to flow to the storm-ravaged state. The Mississippi River could crest tonight in Memphis, but authorities are confident the levees will hold. And in upstate New York, 2 single-engine planes have crashed in a wooded area. There are reports one person is dead. It's not clear yet whether those planes collided. For more on the river watch in the South, go to foxnews.com. The Glenn Beck program returns in a moment, but first, Brett previews special report. Hi, Brett.
Hi, Patty Ann. Coming up, Pakistan's prime minister pushes back. Exactly what did Pakistan know? We'll have the details. Plus, Britt Hume is here with analysis about what exactly the Gang of Six is doing on Capitol Hill. Join me at the top of the hour for special report. Now back to Glenn's show.
Just 1 week ago, triumph best described the sentiment of the American people as news broke of the death of Osama bin Laden. Even President Obama talked about the feeling he had after confirming the death of the FBI's and arguably the world's most wanted terrorist.
It was a moment of great pride for me to see our capacity as a nation to execute something this difficult this well.
This difficult, this well. Despite the mission's success, Pakistanis have some feelings of their own, taking to the streets this weekend to denounce the United States for killing bin Laden. So as new threats of retaliation from both the Taliban and al-Qaeda arise, is it crazy to think our feelings of triumph were just a sense of false security? Joining me now, Michael Scheuer, former head of the CIA's bin Laden unit, author of Osama bin Laden. Michael, I can't think of anybody better to talk about the aftermath of the death of Osama bin Laden than you, and I thank you deeply for being here with us.
Thank you, Judge.
Are we safer now that Osama bin Laden is dead? Or stated differently, are things better or worse?
Well, I'm not sure that they're worse. I think that they are. Removing Osama bin Laden from the scene was a terrific tactical victory. It is revealing a number of things that are uncomfortable for us, but certainly getting him out of the way is important. It's always better to have a dead martyr than a live smart guy working against you, and he very clearly was involved in working against the United States. But other than that, we're still getting beat in Afghanistan. The president has just about announced the surrender. The Taliban clearly is on the offensive. Our borders are still wide open. There's nothing to stop someone coming into our country. And generally speaking, the Islamist movement is more active, more spread out, and more, unfortunately, more violent than it has been at any time in the last 15 years.
Is the government, is General Petraeus, before he leaves to run the CIA, prepared for what the Taliban will claim to be the spring offensive in Afghanistan?
Oh, the American government, the American forces probably can hold that off, Judge. I don't think that's a problem. They have superior firepower. But we're being nickeled and dimed away. We don't have enough troops to win in Afghanistan, and we don't have the political will to send enough to win. And the idea that somehow just killing Osama bin Laden removes the problem we went there to solve is a mistake. And I think, for what it's worth, I think General Petraeus managed to lose in Iraq. He's managed to lose in Afghanistan. And now they're going to put him in charge of the CIA, and he may well bring the half-baked advisors he's had on those 2 wars to the agency.
Oh, boy. Were you surprised that some of the things we learned about bin Laden, or I shouldn't say we learned, Michael, correct me on that, some of the things that were revealed about bin Laden since his death, stated differently, did the CIA already know all of that?
Well, we certainly knew that he was a man who was a true modernist in the sense of the use of the tools of modernity, Judge. The films that they released over the weekend with him watching himself on the TV very much confirms what we've seen. He's always been very concerned with his presentation as a leader. In camouflage clothes when he's out in the field, in fancier robes when he is in a more studio setting. And more than that, he was always obsessed with using the correct Arabic word, the correct Arabic language, and especially grammar. And so watching himself speak is very much in character for him.
Do you think that the federal government is revealing too much about bin Laden since his death?
Well, they're absolutely revealing too much of what we did with the, talking about the safe house there and talking about the stealth helicopters. There was no need for anybody to talk about that. But what they're doing is, Al-Qaeda is like any Western intelligence service, Judge. When we lose someone or we lose some files, we assume everything is compromised. And so we move immediately to change everything. And Al-Qaeda is changing right now phone numbers and everything else. So by telling them we have all this information, we're giving them even more impetus to change everything.
What do you think we should do about Pakistan? I mean, can we trust the Pakistani governments? Are they allies? Are they enemies? We obviously need the territory there. The president didn't tell them about this mission until after it was over with. Bin Laden must have been protected by some military or some intelligence forces. This is a real conundrum. What's Schroyer's advice on this?
Fear God and take your own part, Judge. This is a war we're only going to win if we do things ourselves. The Pakistanis have the whip hand in our relationship. We cannot keep the NATO force and U.S. force in Afghanistan supplied with anything unless we have access to Karachi port and permission to truck things from Karachi to Afghanistan. So this is all hot air you're hearing from the Congress. If we step out, the Chinese and the Saudis make up the shortfall in money, and we're dead in the water without Karachi.
Schroyer, you say it like it is. Thanks very much for joining us.
Pleasure, Judge. Thank you.
Just named one of the country's best companies to work for, the government's friend Fannie Mae is now looking for more of your money. My next guest says the solution is to eliminate Fannie Mae once and for all. Good idea. You don't want to miss this.